Yes, sir, I'll call you in just a moment, please. A year ago, you know, a lot can happen within a year. A lot of things can change. I don't remember correctly, but if I was the chair at that time, when we were dealing with a parking facility.
Through the chair, I'm sorry, a correction. We never have dealt with a parking facility. That was a rezoning.
That's right. That's exactly what it was. It was a rezoning for parking lot.
Right, and I'm pretty sure that Amy Atwood has reported it, so whatever you said then, she got
Well, excuse me.
it. So, just saying.
The thing is, that agreement was a year ago, and that agreement was to rezone
Yes,
the
sir.
property for a parking lot.
For additional parking for the current strip mall, which we are understanding and okay with.
Through the chair, a rezoning is not specific, and
But
it was
we
explained
asked-
at the meeting. A rezoning is not specific to a particular development. A property is rezoned to a zoning designation in the zoning ordinance. Any of the uses allowed. If this was rezoned to B3, any of the uses allowed in the B3 could go there. We don't look at the specific, this one thing is going to go there, because you have to look to what happens if he sells it, what happens if he leaves, what happens if it burns down and it's rebuilt. Now we got a property zone B3. So under rezonings, we don't look at specific site plans. As a matter of informational purposes, we might, but it really, we have to weigh in all the uses permitted in that zoning district when we rezone property. The development itself comes later with site plan approval, which is kind of the point we're at here now with the addition of the parking lot.
Thank you, Ms. Bell. This gentleman is next.
Hi, my name is Lilian Marco. I am from Sarah Marco and Associates Architect in record for this project. Okay, a couple of things that I want to make clear. The drawings are prepared by Sarah Marco and Associates and consultants, are submitted to the City of Taylor for review. And we did the drawings based on the city ordinance. I'm just making a small comments about the city ordinances are different from each city. If the city doesn't like the way that is structured, the parking calculation for the retail building that is the existing shopping center, they amend the ordinance. But based on the today ordinance and the ordinance that we are working now, we're meeting all the requirements on the parking size, on the building setbacks, building materials, landscaping, you name it. We worked from the beginning with Lauren, and the previous application has nothing to do with today's application. Let's say, I'm giving another example. Last application maybe was done by another architect, was done by us. But then we canceled that one and we moved to different application. Today, we vote only for this application, not what was talked 1 year ago. 1 year ago for this rezoning of the half of that parcel. That did not go through. We follow the second application by meeting all the city ordinance. That's all it is.
All right, sir. Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Good evening. My name is Tammy Hall, 9625 Miller Street. I also lease these items from Simon. I have some papers for you, if I may present to you. And then I have some, may I, sir?
Yes, you may.
Thank you. I have some additional questions. On the parking lot, I wanted to know what is the city and state requirement as to 4 or 5 spaces per square feet? Do we know what those are?
Through the chair, state requirements and the parking requirements in our zoning ordinance go hand in hand with the state requirements, and they require them per the amount of total parking spaces.
Okay. And what about the flooding and the retention water? I mean, I'm all for the parking. I'm just not there for the addition. And I'll explain why into my papers. Just on an average, and I took pictures today with the phone as well as he did, Malakabak on an average, 15 employees, all parked on the side and the back. Sam from the liquor garbage store couldn't even get a delivery today. It has to be rescheduled for another day. It's just a parking situation with all the employees, and that's not including a function. That's not including birthdays, that's not including Ramadan. It's very big with Malakabak. We need the parking, not the additional building to have more chaos. Semis park in the back, they could be there for an hour. We can't even get out. I can't get out to go get my son at 3 o'clock from school because that semi's sitting there for either Malakabak or Little Caesars. And it's a big, huge problem. If you look at it, you got the left, you cannot go out and make a left. People violate it all the time. Do you know how many times that we've also sat in our own business and watched hit and runs that aren't even reported? People fight over the parking spaces for the handicapped. With the new addition, does he need to upgrade to the new handicap association? Because there's only 3. If you look on the second page, Little Caesars has parking for them only to the handicapped people, or otherwise they will be told to do business there. This is a big issue that's not being forced with the accidents, with the parking, and with the additional parking. Our customers are handicapped.
Through the chair, the parking lot, as the plans show, do meet the handicap requirements. They exceed them, actually. They're required right now to have 61 parking spaces, and our parking spaces do go per square footage of the building. So they're required to have 61 spaces, 3 of which should be handicapped. They're proposing 81 spaces, 4 handicap spots.
But there's only the 3, so if you add an addition, you're still going to make the requirement and there's no parking because you're expecting an elderly person to go in the back. Sure, Simon has said that the employees are going to park in the back in the dumpsters and stuff.
The handicap parking through the chair is shown at the front of the building.
Oh, but Malakabak has an entrance in the back of the building.
The handicap is required to be closest to the door of the building or the front of the building. That's on every development.
And the problem we're always having, that people parking in the handicap, that they're not handicapped. We contacted the handicap association, and they came out, and they told us that we need to contact the law enforcement so they can enforce it, and we have, and you know what they told us? We're too busy. We're not gonna come out there to just write a ticket for a handicap. And when we look outside, and we see an 85-year-old trying to get out of their vehicle, I'm walking outside to help them because it's heartbreaking. This is the problem that we're having. I have one question. Was Mr. Gulla given a piece of property by the city to extend his parking lot several years ago for free or not?
Through the chair, that has no bearing on this
Part
whatsoever.
of that easement that they put, was he given something at that time, several years ago, to extend his parking lot for 0?
That doesn't enter into what we're talking about.
Well, if you go and look back, he was. And I don't think it's fair for him to take something for free from the city and to gain a business that he's going to make money out of where it's chaos.
We're a strip mall, not a shopping center.
We're not a shopping
The
center.
parking with
Yes.
an additional building is not going to help the situation. We're talking more employees then, more cars then. We already have to pack in the back. As a jewelry store, we are required to park by our building for theft reasons.
Mr. Gulla cannot even enforce this on his tenants to take their signs down where it says parking only for Little Caesar, parking only for Goddard Liquor. What happens to us? We have a handicap parking in front of our store. How do you expect our customers to even walk into our store when other people are parking, they're not even handicapped?
Through the chair, I'm trying to understand your statements here. You're stating if he doesn't put an addition on the building, that's gonna solve all these other problems that
And
you're
if he
listing out?
enforces all the employees of the shopping center to park in the back, but we have an issue to park way in the back. It's a security issue. We have a jewelry store, robberies every day, holdups every day. We fear for our security.
We've already
Well,
had bullets in
respectfully,
front of our
sir,
store.
that
So-
where you are going to park or going to be required to park by the landlord would be between you and the landlord.
Right, but when the landlord can't even enforce it, how do you think he's gonna enforce these employees that on a daily basis, okay? Malika Kebab have on an average of 99 seats in the restaurant. They do on an average of 35% carry-out business. 65% is seating. If you get 4 people in every vehicle to come for dinner, fill up the place, that's 25 vehicles. And they have 15 to 20 employees, that's their vehicles. Where's the rest of the people gonna come in?
There are 81 spaces shown on this site.
But this is one business we're talking. And you have Little Caesar, you have us, and you have Goddard Liquor. And you have chaos coming from the next shopping center, and now you have an Italian restaurant's gonna be built where they're gonna park in our parking spot, and you think he's gonna enforce it? He could care less, he lives in West Bloomfield. Then they're gonna walk across the street to the Italian eatery. Where do you live?
That's not true.
Where do you live?
Wherever I live,
He doesn't even live in that
Excuse me.
parking lot.
But he homestead Taylor.
But he homesteaded there.
Excuse me,
We're getting far off the
Yes.
the point.
please.
Absolutely.
We pretty well know what you have to say.
He's talking over me.
Well,
I
okay.
expected him when he was up
All
here, he
right.
did
I
not.
put the hammer on him as well as I did you, sir.
Thank you, I
We
appreciate it.
have heard enough. We know your circumstances.
Yes.
We don't need to hear any more. Let's let somebody else have a chair.
But I
Okay?
have one request. Only.
All right.
To solve a lot of these issues of the parking, why can't the city buy some of these properties that down the street from the grooming place, that it's sitting there, and make a parking lot? Because obviously the city wants to make Midtown like Royal Oak, so make it happen. Buy a piece
All right.
of property, make a parking lot, make it like a walking place. Maybe somebody will come and put an ice cream shop.
You never know.
Make it happen.
I just want to say though, in the winter though, in the winter, sir,
Now, I gave you the courtesy.
Thank you.
but in the winter though, it piles up, you'll
I-
lose 6
I
spaces.
know that's a problem. I know parking is a
When you
problem.
lose business, it is a
Should
problem.
told me about that Eastman. I could have got the warranty deed. I'll pull you the deed and I'll show you.
They
Sorry.
give him a piece of property for free to extend his parking lot.
Put the building up, or if they don't put the building up, they're going to have a parking problem. It exists now, it'll exist later.
I'm all for the parking, I'm just not there for the building, so
The
we'll
thing
talk
is,
about it.
where we are right now is that it's zoned commercial, which allows a parking lot. He plans to build an addition to the building that exists, and according to the code, according to the city, he's within his right to do that. Now, I don't know what the board is going to have to say about it, I'm only speaking for myself.
Right.
The guy, the only thing he's asking for is what the ordinance and the zoning allows.
Adding the addition will cause the same chaos.
Well, that might very well do that, Jared. That's an assumption, but I almost have a tendency to agree with you.
But it should be with the public safety.
Ma'am,